Here's going to be a review for Transformers 1, spoiler free. I know there was a lot of apprehension to this movie based on the initial trailer, which definitely leaned into being more of a kid's film. But I always thought the movie had potential, based on the fact that it was a Transformers film that, due to its setting and the fact that it was going to be fully animated, was going to be entirely actually focused on the Transformers. What a concept. Also, the second trailer showed more of the Autobot and Decepticon dynamic that most wanted to see. The big gimmick with this film, though, is that this story is a prequel to the everlasting conflict between the Autobots and Decepticons, showing how Optimus Prime and Megatron went from bros to foes, which is a great way to celebrate the franchise's 40th anniversary. And I'm talking about the entirety of Transformers brand, not just the movies, obviously. There was a lot of opportunities to see this film early with early access fan screenings, but due to my work schedule, I wasn't able to go to those last week. But I was able to finally see the movie on its official opening night on Friday. Opted for IMAX, not because I was dying to see the movie in the premium format, but it was the best showing for when I got off of work. As I mentioned, Transformers 1 is a prequel to the conflict between the Autobots and Decepticons, showcasing how Optimus Prime and his sworn enemy Megatron started off as friends as Orion Pax and D-16, who soon uncover a secret that will change the fate of the planet Cybertron, and this secret will lead to them going from bros to foes. Now, to get the best kick out of this film's story, you need to have a basic understanding of the general story of Transformers, mainly the Autobots versus Decepticons, and specifically the everlasting conflict between Optimus Prime and Megatron. Basically, every form of Transformers media accomplished this, from all of the shows, the movies, video games, whatever media you choose. Transformers 1 serves as a general prequel to the story of Optimus and Megatron, so it can tie into the live-action movies, the original cartoons, whatever Transformers media you really wanted to that featured those two characters. With this film being an animated film set on Cybertron, it leads to it being the first entirely character-based Transformers-focused film, because it had no choice but to be. It's all about how Optimus Prime and Megatron went from best buds to mortal enemies. Even the live-action movies reference the two's former camaraderie.
You left me no choice, brother. We were brothers once.
This movie really showcases their friendship from the start and how they really were best buds. Just the playful banter, helping each other out, and always having each other's back. These scenes really are good though, but make you wonder how the are they going to be mortal enemies later on. I thought the movie had a pretty good look for the most part. Your basic look of Cybertron and its inhabitants looked great and even better in IMAX, and the character design was pretty good too for all the Transformers. You know, all these Transformer designs harken back to their original iconic designs from the 80s, but the best way to describe them is the classic 80s look mixed with the video game War for Cybertron type designs. The best part of the designs though was the progression and the design for Optimus and Megatron. As Orion Pax and D-16, they start off as wimpy versions of their classic selves, but the story progression leads to their upgrades to their full selves, and by the end I was like, holy shit, these guys look great. Especially Megatron's design. It was a great final looking Megatron. The only part of the designs was the face. Just the smoothness and the teeth just looks weird. They should have made them look more robotic by adding some panels to the faces, and it would have made a world of difference. As I mentioned earlier, the story really has more of an impact in the context of knowing the basic story of Optimus versus Megatron. The movie's main plot is really just a build-up to what turns D-16 to the dark side. Like most animated films these days, there's a twist that really gets things going here. The way it was done here kind of reminded me of a Disney twist villain like Hans or Nestor de la Cruz. If you remember how Transformers Dark of the Moon played out, it kind of has ties to that movie. The humor was admittedly hit or miss for me. For every joke that missed for me and seemingly the rest of the audience, there was a one-off joke that definitely worked. Most of the real humor came from Bumblebee, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key, although in this film he's not fully Bumblebee yet, he's B-127. Admittedly though, Keegan-Michael Key is starting to get on Awkwafina level for me in terms of me thinking, oh, for f***'s sakes, is he going to be in every animated film to come out? But he's a funny guy, and he definitely had a whole lot of funny moments for the kids.
I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
And he definitely kept things from getting too overly serious in this film. The movie's best quality, though, is when it's building up to that Optimus and Megatron conflict. When you have an iconic mythology like the basic Transformers setup and the Optimus and Megatron mythos, it feels really powerful when you get to that final build-up. You know, here D16 just gets angrier and angrier as things progress, and that contrasts to Orion Pax, who is trying to do things the right way. Initially, I wasn't really sure if Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry were going to be the best fits for Optimus and Megatron, and to be honest, I'm still not sure they are, but because the writing worked, they worked. Brian Tyree Henry was phenomenal though in those moments where Megatron was getting really angry, and those scenes were like, holy shit, you know, this guy's getting pretty intense here, in a good way. When you have a villain as iconic as Megatron, you do have to have that moment where you're like, okay, this guy's definitely made a turn for the worst here. Everything though leads to a great climax. The action, the emotion, and the build up to the classic Transformers mythos have this movie just having a great ending to the story that left me wanting more. It's not an amazing film all the way through, but the overall film comes together nicely. It's at its best when it is building up that divide between Optimus and Megatron, and the movie laid a good foundation to make that divide that happens really mean something. As for now, I've retired my old system of rating things out of 10, and I've come up with a new rating system based on categories of recommendation. For this movie, I was going back and forth between saying it was a good time and excellent. Based on how good that ending was, I was tempted to go the excellent route, but for now I'm just going to say it's a really good time. See it when you get the chance to, because I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. As we've seen, animation did wonders for Spider-Man, and it looks like it's done good things for Optimus and friends. Would love to see the next chapter of this particular story and really getting to the meat and bones of the Autobots and Decepticon conflict based on how this movie ends. And I'll end this review by saying, I am Optimus Prime, and if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.